Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the 11-game NBA main slate on Wednesday. Big day of NBA tomorrow. We got the 11-game main slate, 3-game late slate, so 14 games total. Always a big slate the day before Thanksgiving. But yeah, if this is your first time watching, guys, I cover content for daily fantasy sports as well as for player props. The sponsor of today's video, that's going to be Underdog. You can use the code DKDFS for a $500 deposit match bonus. It'll be linked in the description below, but highly recommend Underdog. I've been on it for a while, but having a ton of fun, and yeah, all the different sports they offer up here. So definitely would recommend it. If you guys do use that link, if you're a first-time user and use the link or the code and deposit, it does help support the channel, so greatly appreciate that. If you guys are looking for more content, you can check out my premium link in the description. For the next 2 days, I'm running 50% off, probably the last discount of the year. For Black Friday, ends on Black Friday. So make sure to take advantage of that if you guys have not already. A lot of different packages up there, whether it be for DFS or for player props. All right, so before we get in the video, we can recap last few days. So it's been a nice little run for me for DFS. Last night, though, was very tilting because had a very good start, and then you had Robert Williams get injured. He only played the first half, and Nikola Jokic, massive blowout. So it was pretty tilted about that one. But did want to shout out, because I forgot to do it in the last video, did want to shout out, we had a subscriber win $50,000 last week. Best part of the job, for sure, is seeing big wins like this. But it was RJ Barrett against Boston, mentioned him as a viable contrarian option, went for 68 fantasy points. So yeah, love to see that. Congrats again, man, on the huge win. And then for props, last night I had a huge night, full swept Prize Picks and Underdog, 8-0, and then went 9-1 in straight props. So it was a very good day yesterday for props. All right, so let's get into the slate here. Miami and Charlotte is the first game. So for Miami, Kevin Love did get banged up or back spasm, so he only played 7 minutes last game. You also saw Duncan Robinson start for Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier came off the bench, played about 21 minutes in overtime. I think any of the top 3 guys are fine here with Bam, Hero, and Jimmy, but that's probably about it. And it's just the way that Miami runs their rotation. They're running a very gross rotation. Now it's a back-to-back. You never know. And the game went to overtime. Maybe you could see, 1 or 2 of these guys end up sitting, but yeah, not. Oh wait, it was the Minnesota game. The Miami game didn't go to overtime, right? Or am I crazy here? Hold on. Yeah, it was not the Miami game. It was the Minnesota Houston game. So they did not go to overtime, but still, really making looking at the top 3 guys unless someone ends up sitting. Now for Charlotte, no Bridges, no Williams, no Nick Richards, no Mann. Last game they did start Taj Gibson at the 5, but he kind of got the spot start as I expected. It was Moussa Diabate that got the nice minutes increase, or the guy that got the most run, I should say, at the 5. 32, 31, and 32 minutes over the last 3 games. Not really going to be doing a ton offensively, but a pretty good rebounder, decent shot blocker. So Diabate, solid value there. But really the offense is just running through LaMelo and Miller, and they're kind of doing everything right now for the team. 10-3 for LaMelo, 7-4 for Miller. Both look good. The potential assists on Miller have gone way up. So they're really just relying on those two to kind of do everything. As far as the rest of this team goes, I think Cody Martin at 4.5 is playable. You have Josh Green at 3.8K is playable. But again, these guys are really just out there running cardio. Saloon, 30 minutes, 10 fancy points, right? Seth Curry, only played 13 minutes last game, even with all those guys out. So, yeah, I would say mainly just LaMelo and Miller, and then a little bit of interest in Diabate there. For the Clippers, Norm Powell's questionable, pretty big news. If he gets ruled out, you should get Amir Coffey in the starting lineup, and probably a slight increase in minutes for guys like KPJ and Dunn. Yeah, that could open up a little bit of out of there for the Clippers. As far as the main guys go, Harden at 9K against the Wizards, I think looks pretty good. And Avicii Zubac at 7K against the Wizards also looks good. So the 2 main guys for the Clippers, I think, look really good. The rest of the team could be in play if Powell gets ruled out. Powell's in. I'm probably not going to be looking to many of the secondary options. And then Mo Bamba, if he does play, actually would be viable. 15, 16, and 17 minutes over the last 3 games. Good point per minute. So we'll keep an eye on that news too. Now for Washington, Jordan Poole is questionable, but did not play today. You had Keyshawn George start the last couple games for Jordan Poole, and then you would see an increase in minutes for Corey Kispert off the bench too if Jordan Poole can't play. And then the usage bump to the main guys. Like Kuzma had a pretty big game in a competitive game. Sarr's been starting at the 5. He's been playing pretty well. So yeah, 5.6K. Assuming he continues to start at the 5, he looks like a pretty good option. But yeah, the Poole news is big. If Poole is in, the value doesn't look as good if Poole's out. Again, you got Kispert 4.9, George 4.6. Just kind of everyone looks better if Poole does not play. Now for Atlanta, the big news here is Trae Young. Trae Young's questionable. If he gets rolled out, you're going to see a nice usage bump and assist bump to Jalen Johnson would be the clear top option. But also, would increase the chance of a blowout here at playing on the road in Cleveland. Starting lineup, they could go a lot of different ways with this. They could shift Bogdan in the starting lineup and kind of start like Dyson/Bogdan at the point. They could start Kobe Buffkin at the point. They could just do so many different things with the starting lineup. So we'll keep an eye on that. But if Trae Young is in, there's really not a ton that I think looks good. If Trae Young gets ruled out, I think Jalen Johnson find tournament play. The center's kind of splitting the minutes right now with Capella and Kongu. They're riding the hot hand. The minutes have ticked up in DeAndre Hunter, 29 and 31 minutes over the last couple games. So he would look a little bit better if Trae Young gets ruled out. Then Bogdanovich, 26 and 28 minutes. So of like the value plays, I guess probably Bogdanovich would be my preferred option right now. For Cleveland, no Strus, no LeVert. Main four guys all in play here with Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Allen. Reasonable price points on all four. Good matchup. So yeah, the top four guys think look pretty good. The Jerome, man, he led the team in usage last game, even with everyone healthy for Cleveland, like all the main guys. I don't think he continues to play this well, but did want to mention it. I was looking at through the usage rates for props, and he led the team in usage that last game. All right, let's move on to Portland and the Pacers. So Portland pretty banged up. You got no Rob Williams, no Klingon. Scoot and Ayton are questionable. Jeremy Grant is doubtful. Now, Jeremy Grant doubtful. I'm expecting Denny to start. DeAndre Ayton, if he's available, I think would start. If he misses, I think they could either start Jabari Walker at the 5 or they could start Duop Reef. Now, in the second half, once Rob Williams got injured, they started Jabari Walker. So, yeah, this is a big team, or this is a team we have to keep an eye on the news for sure. I mean, it's a good matchup. So, the guards like Sharp and Simons are definitely viable. Again, Denny, if he moves in the starting lineup, looks good. Over the last couple games, 33, 32 minutes, he's been playing better. Kamar is playing good minutes. Banton, if there's no Scoot, could be in play for sure. We know he's a good point per minute player. And then again, some of these value centers potentially if DeAndre Ayton can't play. So, interesting spot here for Portland. Now for the Pacers, no Nembhard, no Shepard, no Naismith. Quentin Jackson's been starting the last couple games. He actually played good minutes last game, played 32 minutes. Miles Turner did deal with some foul trouble last game, only played 28 minutes. But in a competitive game, I think you would probably see mid-30s minutes from Miles Turner. Halliburton and Siakam, these are the two guys with the highest ceiling. Big game last game for Halliburton. Siakam 7-3, does have 40 to 50 fantasy points upside. And then Benedict Matherin's playing big minutes right now. Rebounding numbers are solid for him just because the Pacers are kind of going small behind Turner. I mean, you have seen a little bit of Moses Brown off the bench last couple games. Moses Brown, good point per minute player, but not really playing enough right now, I don't think, for me to consider him. All right, Chicago and Orlando. So Chicago, you do have Lonzo Ball expected to be on a limit, 15 to 16 minutes. Don't think it'll be necessary on the slate. I think we'll probably have better value opening up. Not really the best matchup here. I think like the main guys have find contrarian plays, Vooch, Levine, Kobe White, Giddey, but yeah, there's nothing that really looks good. Jalen Smith had a big game tonight off the bench. We know he's a good point per minute player. Similar play to kind of what Mo Bamba would be if Mo Bamba plays. For Orlando, no Paolo still. You do have Wendell Carter Jr. back and Jalen Suggs back. They both missed last game. Wendell Carter Jr.'s been out for a while, so I'd expect him to be on a limit. Not even sure if he starts. Goga's been starting, but with Carter Jr. back in the mix, it's pretty hard to feel good about any of the centers. Franz has been dominating with Paolo out. Kind of had I guess he still put up 45 fantasy points last game. I have no issue with Franz going up against the Bulls. Jalen Suggs, 6.5K. Production's been a little bit up and down with him, but we know the ceiling is there. He looks a little bit better with Paolo still out. The rest of the team, nothing I feel great about. You saw a big game last game for Cole Anthony, but again, that was with Jalen Suggs out. Maybe he'll see some rotation minutes, but not super confident. The Magic do run a pretty deep rotation usually. For Houston, I was pretty high on Şengün as a contrarian play tonight. He absolutely smashed triple-double. Just the minutes have ticked up on him in competitive games. Like I think before overtime, he played 37 minutes, I want to say, or something like that. And now you get a spot here against Philly without Embiid. So I, once again, like Şengün, 8.6K. I think he looks really, really good. I took his over rebounds plus assist prop. That hit with ease. Van Vliet also had a massive game kind of out of nowhere. 45 minutes for him. As far as the rest of the team goes, Men Thompson is 5.5. Minutes have been solid for him lately. They kind of will ride the hot hand of like Jabari Smith and Men Thompson and Tari Eason. Like whoever's playing the best of the group will usually get extended a bit. not a ton else here to mention for Houston. Now for Philadelphia, so no Embiid, no Paul George, no Lowry, and then you have Martin is questionable. Now last game, Maxey played 30 minutes. That game was a blowout too, so I think he's close to off a minutes restriction. 8.1K, definitely has to mention Maxey. McCain led the team in usage. Didn't have the best game shot, 3 of 15, but these two guards should be leading the way offensively. I think Kelly Oubre is fine option here at 5.7. Dealt with some foul trouble this game, but I think you should see 30-plus minutes from him in a competitive game. You're going to see Yabusele and Drummond split the center position. 5.5K for Yabusele feels about right. He's still in play, and then Drummond will back him up there at 5K. If there is no Martin, maybe like KJ Martin could be in play, Reggie Jackson, Eric Gordon, but the bench here for these kind of secondary pieces for Philadelphia right now are pretty gross. New York and Dallas, so no Robinson, no Achua. Towns 9.5 and playing extremely well. Rebound numbers have looked amazing on him. I think he's firmly in play at the top. And then the potential assists and Jalen Brunson have gone way up too. So both Cat and Brunson, I think, are solid spend ups. The rest of the team, Hart, OG, Bridges, they're going to play big minutes, all fine options. McBride at 4.2 in a competitive game should see like mid-20s minutes. Campaign has him playing solid off the bench with McBride back. It's a little bit tougher to get to him. Now for Dallas, a lot of question marks here. So Luka's out. Lively's questionable. Klay Thompson's questionable. Quentin Grimes is questionable. So if there's no Lively, you should see a bump in minutes for Daniel Gafford. If there's no Klay Thompson and no Quentin Grimes, then like Hardy and Dinwiddie should see a nice bump in minutes, as long as not. Same with Najee Marshall. So Hardy played 32 minutes last game. He saw 36 minutes on the bench for Dinwiddie. Najee Marshall played big minutes. He played 28 minutes. Obviously a bump in usage to Kyrie with Luka out. So this team could look really good if a lot of these guys are out again. So we'll definitely keep an eye on the news there. If Lively gets rolled out again, Gafford should start, and then probably like a combo of like Kleber / Dwight Powell playing the backup 5. Now for Detroit, Cade Cunningham doubtful, Tobias Harris questionable. Jaden Ivey was someone I was really high on last slate, and he absolutely smashed. Still like him here at 7.5. The numbers of Cade Cunningham off the court dating back to last year are really good. The usage, the assist numbers. So I still have interest in a 7.5 Ivy. During minutes, kind of all over the place. He's foul prone. They've been, extending Stewart a bit, but he's viable in GPPs. If Tobias Harris is out, you probably see an increase for guys like Thompson and Fontecchio, or as I like to call him, Fettuccine Alfredo. Those guys could look a little bit better. I don't know how many minutes, though, Stuart Thompson could play. Put 16 minutes in his first game back. Tobias could open up a little bit of value if he gets ruled out. Now for Memphis, so no Ja, no Edie. No Vince Williams. You should have Pippen shift back in the starting lineup there with Ja out. 5.9K for Scottie Pippen. Looks like a pretty decent play. The only downside is Memphis runs a pretty deep rotation. They're probably going to run 10 guys at least. But yeah, 5.9 for Pippen looks good. And then Bane and Jaren Jackson get a usage bump. Decent spot here. 7.8 for Jackson. 6.9 for Bane. Both solid options. Santi Aldama, 5.9. Minutes have not been amazing on him, but he's been producing. The rest of the team, Brandon Clark should continue to start. I think he's a fair value play here at 4.4. He's been playing a bit better of late. You do have Marcus Smart at 4.3. That's a pretty cheap price point, but they've been relatively cautious with his minutes, but still fine. Again, Luke Kennard, 3.9, playable as well. It's just that Memphis, again, the rotation that they run, they're really spreading out the minutes, right? Now for Toronto, so one guy that was high in for tournaments last night, took his props as well, Scotty Barnes. He absolutely smashed 65 fancy points. Clearly no longer limit here for Scotty Barnes. So 8.7K for Barnes. I like him there at the top. Barrett at 8.3. For me, I think I'd prefer Barnes at a similar price point, but Barrett, is still viable. Then Jakob Poeltl should play 30-plus minutes, assuming no foul trouble or blowout, but the price point is up on him. With Grady Dick missing last game, we did see Davion Mitchell start 4.4, played 31 minutes. Didn't do a ton with the minutes. Then you have Agbachi at 4.5 that has been struggling a bit of late. My boy Boucher at 4.3 minutes can fluctuate a bit on him, but pretty good point per minute player. Always have interest in him for tournaments. Shed, Mogbo, Battle probably round out the rotation. Those guys are viable dart throws. Now for the Pelicans, a lot of question marks too. Zion's out, Alvarado's out, Herb Jones is out. Ingram and Murphy are questionable. DeJounte Murray is expected back, but he should be on a limit. We got to mention the Alf Payton game, man. Alf Payton, this guy's won me a lot of money in years past, but 21 assists last game in 31 minutes. Obviously, with DeJounte Murray back and potentially Ingram and Murphy as well, it'll be a little bit tougher to get to Alfred Payton. But we'll definitely have to monitor the news here with a lot of these Pelicans. Pretty tough team to talk about right now. Misi did start the second half ahead of Daniel Tice and played 31 minutes. So if he starts at the 5, I think he's a solid value. We really just have to keep an eye on the news here. For Sacramento, no DeRozan, no Lyles. So last game, the Kings did start Keon Ellis. They could start him again here and just go a little bit small. Could go like Fox, Keon Ellis, Sabonis, Murray, and Herter. Like they could do something like that with DeRozan out. But yeah, Fox and Sabonis, 9-4, 9-1 respectively. These are going to be the guys leading the way offensively. Both fine options. Keegan Murray's been a little bit quiet. I think with both DeRozan and Lyles out, again, guys like Monk, Herter, Ellis should see more run. You probably will see some McDermott in the rotation as well. We'll keep an eye on the starting lineup for Sacramento. For Minnesota, so Mike Conley missed the game tonight. Dante DiVincenzo started. Did not play the best. NAW played decent off the bench. You saw Dillingham actually play well off the bench as well. So could be some potential value here for Minnesota if Conley gets ruled out. Anthony Edwards has the high ceiling of the team, but 9.5K feels priced about right. Always an Anderson, my boy Naz Reid. He had a good game off the bench tonight as a viable tournament play. Final game here is the Lakers and the Spurs. So it's a back-to-back here for the Lakers. We'll see. Maybe you could see someone rest. But assuming everyone is in, same old for Lakers. 80 LeBron, definitely in play at the top. Reeves feels like a reasonable price point there in the mid-range. Connect played 28 minutes last game. We'll see what he finishes with tonight. That was coming off the bench with Rui back. But yeah, and then finally the Spurs. So the Spurs also on a back-to-back. Would not be surprised like Wembanyama sits here. It's definitely possible. And he played 37 minutes tonight. So that's certainly something that could happen. If he like ends up resting, you get Zach Collins starting at the 5. But assuming everyone is in, I mean, I like the upside a good amount of Wembanyama. He's been playing much better of late. Upside is clearly there. Cass continues to play well, continues to play good minutes. He looks like a pretty good play. CP3 is relatively quiet tonight, but he's still a reasonable price point. And then guys like Johnson, Champagny, fine. But again, the Spurs also kind of relatively spread out the minutes too. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for the video. As always, if you do enjoy this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And we'll see you guys all in the next video.